Namaste. So today we're going to do a short detox pose. We're going to start off lying on our tummies with either a rolled up blanket or a rolled up towel. So firmly roll up either one of those items and come down to lying on your front. You want to place the blanket or the towel below the ribs but above the pelvis. So just give yourself a moment just to arrange that underneath your tummy. Come onto your elbows. And what we're doing here is we're trying to bring a nice massage in to the abdominal organs. You might start to feel a little bit tender as you start to come into this pose. You can release all the way down if that feels a little bit more easier on the shoulders and the neck. Bring the forehead down to the back of the hands or remain on your forearms. And as you inhale, just see if you can push the blanket or the towel away. And as you exhale, just sink a little bit deeper. Inhale, push it away. Exhale, release. Some of the tenderness that we're possibly experiencing here is tenderness around the abdominal organs themselves. Some tightness in the trigger points around the belly. And what we're doing here is just massaging so we can go a little bit deeper in our practice today, creating a little bit more space. Let's have a few more breaths here. When you're ready, just release the forehead from the back of the hands or the wrists. Place your hands underneath the shoulders. Push up and back. Remove your blanket or your towel and sink down in child's pose. Just melt the belly, the chest all the way down to the mat. Release your forehead. Breathe deeply into the upper back body. Inhale here, and as you exhale, slowly, carefully allow the spine to uncurl, coming all the way up. We're going to come down to lying on our backs. So for a moment, have the knees bent, soles of the feet onto the floor. Start to ensure that the whole back body feels comfortable here. Have the feet hip width apart for a moment, just creating some more space around the lower back. Soften and release the shoulder blades into the earth. Just release the arms and the hands alongside the body, palms facing downwards. And keep the neck nice and safe today, just tuck the chin down towards the chest. You're going to bend the knees up high over the chest, and then from here you can extend the legs all the way up. So just might be mindful how the hamstrings feel. If it feels more comfortable for you to take a micro bend through the knees, then please do so. And then from here we're going to extend our arms all the way out, shoulder height. Turn the palms towards the earth, but see here if you can still release through the shoulders. Still releasing those shoulder blades down into the floor. We're going to bend the knees. Let's inhale here. As you exhale, start to take the knees over towards the left. Keep breathing here, but see if you can spin the belly to the right. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. As you exhale, take the knees over towards the right and spin the belly towards the left. Keep breathing. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. As you exhale, take the knees over towards the left, spin the belly towards the right. And if you want to add on from here, so keep the knees squeezed together. Inhale, extend the legs. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. As you exhale, take the knees over towards the right, spin the belly to the left. Inhale, extend the leg if you want over towards the right. Breathe. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. Exhale, take the knees over towards the left, spin the belly to the right. And as you inhale, you can extend through those legs if you wish. Keep the feet, the knees together. Keep breathing. Inhale, bend the knees, bring them back to center. As you exhale, take the knees over towards the right, spin the belly towards the left. Inhale, extend the legs, squeeze the knees, the feet. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. Hug the knees in and gently rock from side to side. Well done. That's woke things up today. Massage the belly. Release the hands, find the hands onto the kneecaps. Right hand on top of right knee, left hand on top of left knee, fingers point down towards the toes. Let's just start to circle the knees out to the side, slowly drawing back to center. Releasing the hips, massaging the belly after that last pose and the lower back. Change direction when you're ready. Bring the knees back to center. Gently rock from side to side for the last time. Knees come back to center, raise your right arm, keep that right arm elevated as you roll all the way over onto your right side. For a moment, rest your head on that raised arm. Allow yourself to take a little full inhale here. And a little full exhale. Slowly, carefully bring some mindful attention and awareness into your left fingers. Your left hand, when you're ready, push down into that hand. Use that hand to steady yourself as you push all the way back up. You're going to come straight into lizard pose to open up the hips a little bit more, bring a little bit more fire in around the hips and the belly. So when you're ready, let's come onto our tabletop position. Have a blanket for the knees if you need it, or have a blanket close by. Position the hands and fingers directly underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingers apart, push down into the pads of the hands. Inner elbows in towards one another, and we're going to push the earth away to create that space from the shoulders to the ears. Look down at your knees, the knees are hip width apart. That lovely length through the spine, up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. And then carefully, slowly, let's step our right foot to the outside of our right hand. Ensure we're keeping that right knee nice and safe. We've got a nice right angle through the knee's directly above the ankle. And start to sink down through the left hip. So walk that left leg back a little bit, but release totally onto the top of that left foot. Keep extending out through the spine, out through the crown of the head. This might be enough. Now I'm going to tuck the toes under on that left foot and really engage through that left leg as you push the back of that left knee towards the ceiling. Keep breathing, keep lengthening. And then if you want to try something a little bit extra, maybe you've got enough space in the body to come down onto the forearms. If you haven't, don't worry, keep on your hands, keep lengthening through the spine, broaden out through the rib cage, extending it towards the top of your mat, towards the crown of your head. Breathe deeply. Inhale here. As you exhale, release that left knee down, uncurl the foot. Come all the way up onto your hands if you're not there already. We're going to sink the hips down towards the left foot. That creates more space in the pelvic bowl for us to bring our right knee round. And then we're back onto all fours, our tabletop position. So we're going to try that the other side. Have a good base to start with, fingers spread apart, inner elbows in towards one another. Pushing the earth away, create space around the shoulders. Got lovely length through the spine, up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. And then slowly, carefully, let's step the left foot to the outside of our left hand. Just as we did on our first side, just see if you can just walk that right knee back slightly. Take a blanket underneath the knee if you need to. Releasing the top of that right foot onto the floor. So this might be enough. You might want to engage through that right leg, tuck the toes under and push into the ball of that right foot as you push the back of the right knee towards the ceiling. Keep breathing, keep lengthening. If there's enough space in the body and you feel okay today, maybe coming all the way down onto your forearms. Keep breathing, keep extending the rib cage towards the top of the mat. Keep smiling, good. Inhale here. As you exhale, release that right knee down. Come all the way up onto your hands. And then from here, push the hips back towards the right knee, right foot. That creates space in the hips to bring that left knee round. Let's take a moment to sink the hips down towards the heels. Let's melt the chest down towards the floor in our child's pose. Look after wrists, hands and fingers. Draw some circles with the wrists, moving the fingers. Inhale deeply here. As you exhale, slowly, carefully allow the spine to come all the way up. Let's come back into our tabletop position. Look after wrists, hands and fingers, spread the fingers apart. Push the earth away, inner elbows, just check them in towards one another. The knees are comfortable, a comfortable distance apart. Let's draw the navel in towards the spine. Let's come into our downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, push up and back into your downward facing dog. So adjust in the placement of the hands and the feet if you need to. Bend the knees if you need to. Let's walk the dog. Stretching out through the back of the legs. Come back into your static downward facing dog when you're ready. Keep breathing into the upper back body. Check how the back feels. Release totally through the neck and the head. Draw the rib cage towards the top of the thighs. Bend the knees, look towards your hands.
Take as many steps as you need to towards the top of the mat. We're going to come into a small vinyasa flow. Take a moment to get there. So bend the knees. Take the hands on the feet or on the shin if they don't reach the floor. When you're ready, let's inhale. Let's slide the hands up the lower leg, just below the knees. Extend all the way up through the pelvic bone and extend the crown of the head in front of you. This is your inhale. As you exhale, you slide the hands back down the shins, so the hands reach the feet or the shins or the floor. Inhale, we're going to swan dive the arms all the way out to the sides, reaching up towards the sky. Fingers, palms touch. Exhale down into Anjali Mudra at your heart space. Inhale, reach up, fingers towards the sky. As you exhale, forward fold, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, slide the hands back up the shins, extend out of the pelvic bowl, nice along the spine, crown of the head in front of you. Exhale, slide the hands back down the shins. We need the hands to reach the floor. Inhale, we're going to step back into our plank pose. So take a moment here. Keep the navel drawn in towards the spine. Keep active through the toes and the ball of the feet. Keep broadening out through the crown of the head. When you're ready, exhale, push back into your downward facing dog. Good. Let's walk the dog here. Back into a static downward facing dog. So bend the knees. We're going to come into a twist. So take the weight into your left hand. Release the right hand from the mat. Take the right hand to the outer left shin. Inhale here. As you exhale, start to rotate all the way around towards the left. See if you can look underneath your left arm. Keep breathing high. A nice deep twist for those abdominal organs. Keeping the mobility around the spine, squeezing out through the belly. If you need to take a break, please do. Inhale here. As you exhale, come back to center, release that right hand down. Let's walk the dog again. Come back to your static downward facing dog. So let's shift the weight into the right hand, pick the left hand up. Take the left hand to the outer right leg, right shin. Pull on that hand as you start to rotate all the way around towards the right and come underneath your right arm. Keep breathing. Inhale. As you exhale, release that left hand down. Walk the dog or take a break after hands and wrists if you need to. Come back into your static downward facing dog. Deeply inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Carry on with that breathing. Just observe here if you're starting to feel a little bit warmer than you would normally. Probably from that small flow that we did after our downward facing dog. Just trying to create a little bit of detox in the body. Just giving all our internal organs, our abdominal organs a good wring out just to get some fresh blood, nutrients coming back into those areas and in around the spine. Exhale. When you're ready, bend the knees, look towards your hands. Take as many steps as you need to come all the way up towards the top of your mat. From here, you're going to bring the hands to the inner elbows or find the hands to the shins or the back of the legs. Breathe up into the upper back body, release totally through the neck and the head. Maybe the hands are to the inner elbows, making that lovely box shape, and that allows you to gently sway from side to side. Take a moment here, catch your breath. Just recover from the last couple of poses that we've done. Swaying from side to side, come back to centre, release the hands from the inner elbows, find the shins, the feet, the mat, the back of the legs for a moment. We're going to inhale here. As we exhale, let's push down to the feet, start to stack everything up. So allow the fingers, the hands, the arms to be heavy. Really using all the muscular strength in your legs, in your core, your lower back. The spine, just to bring you all the way back up to standing. Blood pressure, the last thing to come up will be our neck and our head, and only then should we straighten through the legs, straighten through the knees. Super. Let's come to the middle of our mats. Find a good Tadasana. So look down at your feet, ensure the feet are hip width apart. And you can sense a connection with all your toes and the four corners of the feet as they root down into the earth. Having nice active legs here, pushing down into our Pada Bandha, drawing that energy up. Observing that we're lifting the kneecaps, the thighs are firm, pelvis neutral. Creating space through the torso as we allow the spine to lengthen up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. We soften and release the shoulders, just take the arms alongside the hips. So we're going to sink down into Utkatasana, chair pose with an option to come into a twist if you want to. So just thinking about the theme for our class today is just a short detox class. So make sure you feel grounded, you've got good stability through the feet and the legs. Inhale here. As you exhale, sink down into that imaginary comfy chair. Keep the navel drawn in towards the spine and keep the hands out in front, but watch the shoulders. So sink down a little bit further if you can. Keep the tailbone sinking down just to prevent any undue stress on the lower back. Bring the hands to heart space and bring the hands all the way in. We're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, let's take our left elbow to the outside of our right knee. Let's pull on that right knee so we can rotate. Quite deeper rotation round towards the right. Try and get the hands in the centre of the chest. Have nice wide elbows. Keep breathing. Inhale here. As we exhale, come back to centre. Take a break here if you need to. See if you can sink down a little bit further. Inhale. As we exhale, let's take the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Pull on that elbow. Drawing the hands in towards the centre of the chest as you rotate round towards the left. Take your gaze over towards the left. And have a nice broad open chest as you open up through the elbows. Breathe here. Inhale, as you exhale, come back to centre, well done. Push down into the feet, slowly, carefully. Come all the way up. When you're all the way up, release hands. Release arms. We're going to come into triangle pose, into a twist. So for this, you will need a yoga brick or a small hardback book towards the front of the right hand side of your mat, so towards the back of your mat. And come back into a good Tadasana. Feet directly underneath the hips, finding that connection with the toes of all corners of the feet. Rooting down, energizing the legs, drawing that energy up, lengthening through the spine, up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. Releasing arms and shoulders. Come to a comfortable wide stance. So you've got your brick or your block towards the back of the right hand side of your mat. And then turn the toes on your right foot out. Turn the toes on your left foot in. So as we come into our triangle pose, our Trikonasana, we want to have nice strong legs. If it's too much for the hamstrings, then please take a micro bend through the knees. We're going to raise up the arms, release the shoulders, palms towards the earth, opening through the chest, nice active arms, pushing out through the wrists, the fingers. Turn your hips and your ribs towards me as far as you can. Push down into the feet, inhale here. As you exhale, let's start to reach all the way over towards the right. When you can't reach anymore, take that right hand down in front of the right shin, right ankle, and reach up with that left arm, left hand, left fingers towards the sky. Got a couple of options here with your gaze. You can take your gaze down towards that right foot or up towards the left hand. Just check how the neck feels, how your balance feels today. Breathe deeply. When you're ready, turn your gaze down towards your right foot if your gaze isn't already there, and then release your hand, your left hand, take a bend in the left elbow, left hand onto left hip. So you're pushing into the feet. With your right hand, find your book or your brick, which we're going to use behind that right foot. So bring it a little bit closer to the back of that right foot. And then from here, as we look down towards that right hand, right foot, we're going to push into the feet. We're going to start to lengthen through the spine. We start to draw the front of our hips all the way over our right thigh. So we're starting to bring a rotation through the body. Take your right hand onto your right hip, and this time release your left hand, and with your left hand find the top of that brick behind your right foot. So keep pushing into the feet, keep lengthening out through the crown of the head. If we don't lengthen, then we can't get that lovely rotation through the spine, through the body. Eventually, you'll notice that your hips are directly above your right thigh, or maybe you'll notice that the hips are shifting a little bit more as your ribcage goes towards the back of the mat. Keep your left hand on that brick, and if your balance will allow and you feel okay, you can release that right hand. Extend that right hand fingers towards the sky, and if you feel okay, even possibly look up at that right hand. Don't forget to breathe here, breathe deeply. Inhale, as you exhale, release that right hand back onto your right hip. Slowly bring the front of your hips, your rib cage back over your right thigh. Release your left hand onto your left hip. Start turning your rib cage, your hips back towards me. We're going to come back into Trikonasana, just how we started. Release that right hand in front of the right ankle, right shin. Open up through the chest. Either take your gaze up to the left hand or down towards that right foot. Inhale here. As we exhale, let's come all the way up. Release the arms. Excellent, well done. Let's turn the feet all the way around. So move your brick or your book towards the back of the left-hand side of your mat. And this time we're going to turn the toes out. So the toes on the left foot are out. Toes on the right foot into 45 degrees. Got nice strong legs. We're feeling grounded through the feet, drawing the energy up, lifting the kneecaps. You're going to raise up the arms, turn your ribs and your hips towards me. Inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to start to reach all the way over towards the left. So sometimes I cue this in class as if I'm pulling your fingers, your hand away from you. When you can't reach anymore, take the left hand down. Left hand's just in front of the left shin or the left ankle. Take the right arm, right hand up. Depending on how you feel on this side, it might suit you to look up towards your fingers on the right hand or down towards your left foot, but keep breathing, keep reaching. Your gaze isn't already down towards your left foot. Turn your gaze down towards your left foot. Take a bend in the right elbow and place your right hand on your right hip. From here, as you look down towards your left foot with your left hand, you're going to bring the brick a little bit closer to the back of your left foot. With your left hand, start to push down into the brick. Start to lengthen through the spine as you push down through the feet. And as we did on our right side, we're going to start to turn our ribs, turn the hips so they're directly stacked over that left thigh. From here, let's take the left hand onto the left hip and cross the right hand in front of the body so the right hand finds the top of the brick behind your left foot. Keep pushing into the feet, keep pushing into the hand on the brick or onto the book. And as we did on our first side, see if you can start to turn our ribs towards the back of the mat, our hips towards the back of the mat. Depending on how we're feeling, this might be enough. We might like to reach up through your left arm, push out through the wrist, the hand and the fingers towards the sky. Maybe your gaze reaches up towards the left hand too. Keep breathing. Lovely deep rotation through the body, aiding in that detox process. Creating a little bit of heat. Inhale here. As you exhale, take a bend through the left elbow with your left hand. Come back onto your left hip. Push into the hand on top of the brick. Start to guide your hips and your ribs to stack directly over the left, top of the left leg. And then from here, we're going to release the left hand onto the brick. Take your right hand onto your right hip. Slowly, carefully start to guide the hips and the ribs back towards the front of the mat. You can release your hand, your left hand from the top of the brick, the book. Find your hand back in front of the left shin, left ankle, coming back into Trikonasana, how we started. Reaching up through that right arm, opening the chest, take your gaze up to the right hand if it feels okay, or down towards that left foot. A couple more breaths here. Inhale. As we exhale, firmly press down into the feet. Come all the way up. Excellent. Release the arms. Turn your feet towards the front of the room and heel toe back to centre. With the feet directly underneath the hips, take your hands onto the hips, bend the knees and draw your lovely hip circles. Feel that massaging out around the hips, the lower back, the belly. Change direction when you're ready. Come back to centre, push down into the feet, straighten through the legs, release fingers, hands and arms. Let's come into our Shavasana. So maybe putting on some extra layers, socks, jumpers. Coming all the way down to lying down. Just starting to feel comfortable and warm as you rest the back body on the earth. Arranging legs and feet, maybe lengthening the legs all the way out in front, or taking a bend in the knees, placing the soles of the feet onto the floor. And we release through the shoulders, so it might help to have the hands and arms alongside the body, or maybe take a bend in the elbows, and just cradle the lower abdomen with the hands. Close the eyes. As you close the eyes, just bring some awareness to the breath. Start to slow the breath down. Maybe see if you can slow the breath down as you take your inhale to 3 counts on the way in. And then sigh as you exhale. Do that a couple more times. Just sensing the back of your head sinking down into the earth. Starting to release around the scalp and your forehead. Starting to release around the eyes, and the space in between the eyes, around the eyebrows. Allow the nose to relax, the cheekbones. Just unclench the jaw. Let the tongue soften into the base of the mouth. Integration of our practice here today. Mind, body, and spirit. In Shavasana, the body gives in, surrenders the stronghold of the mind. In our Shavasana, the body does not only elongate, does not only grow in length, but also in width. At the end of the practice, there is this deep wish to rest. The bones want to rest, the bones of the head, bones of the shoulders, the arms, the bones of the pelvis, the legs. Very carefully, just allow some awareness to come back into the room, back onto your body resting on the earth. Bring some movement into your hands and feet, into your fingers and your toes, circling through the wrists, circling around through the feet and the ankles. And if it feels okay, let's come into a lovely full body stretch. Taking the arms up and overhead. If the knees are bent, straighten out the legs in front of you and just sense how that stretch feels from your fingertips down to your toes. Release the arms. Start to take the knees up over the chest into a self-embrace. And from here, gently rock from side to side. Bring the knees back to centre. Carefully take your right arm up. Taking your right arm up, rolling all the way over onto your right side, just resting your head on that raised arm. Allowing yourself to take a little fuller inhale and a little fuller exhale. Start to bring awareness into your fingers, into your left hand. Carefully, slowly, very much in your own time, take weight into that hand, push down into that hand, using that hand to steady yourself as you make your way all the way back up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me in your yoga practice today. I hope to see you very soon on Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.